you go.
Yeah. Look, remember we was down and broke, no place to go. Now we got business.
Welcome to the Free Game Podcast, man. We back. It's been a minute. You know, it's the start of the summer. We getting back to it. But we back here with another episode. We're going to talk about some NBA stuff. What's going around the league. The draft just happened. And we also got like some spicy trade scenarios that's going on. But first of all, before we get into that, because it's been a minute since we seen y'all. No, go ahead, man. I don't even want to say it, man. Go ahead.
I'm bogus. I ain't even repping. I got a hat that's identical to this, but of course, it's for the champions, Golden State Warriors. My man Steph held true to that ish he was talking last year when he was saying, you know, niggas ain't want to see him next year.
Here you go.
He made a dream a reality, you know. The man stepped up. He got the MVP. There's no way you don't put him in that top tier class of NBA players. He earned that. He fearlessly took his team to where they needed to go. Stepped up, picked up the phone, answered the call, made it happen. Bada boom, bada bing.
Finally, I'm happy about that, man. You know, before we dive into this, man, you know, this is lovely, you know, jam-packed episode of Free Game. I will say I am happy that Steph finally, you know what the Rockets like, and I'm finally, like the Rockets kept saying finally. Steph finally got it done, man, because it was looking a little shaky, baby, you know, for that part of his career, but I will say, and I know we're going to dive into a little later for sure, but I will say that. Yeah, Steph not in your top 10 all-time list. You might have a little hate on your heart, man.
Yeah.
A little guy finally did it, you know what I'm saying? I'm calling him little guy. I know he's older than me, but I like to call him little guy sometimes, you know. But little homie finally did it, man. So shout out to Steph. From here at Free Game, we applaud you. You got your finals MVP, man. You got four of them things on your hand, big dog. Yeah. You get to take that coveted, you know, that personal trophy home, that personal finals MVP. So yeah, shout out to the Warriors, man. Shout out to that's Don's set. Shout out to the set. Yeah, man, they are reigning and defending NBA champions.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out, like you said, shout out Steph and them, man. You can really tell it's probably the sweetest one, but you know, I got my boy Coach Don on the left. We got Chuck coming from Atlanta, man. You know our boys, man. We hear our boy Keith ain't here right now, but you know, hopefully we'll see. Maybe he'll come later on. If not, you'll see him in the next episode. But
I just saw Poole last on somebody's Instagram story with a blaze on with his chest out. He taking some more post-birthday pics, man. So you know he probably won't be at his time, but it's all good.
yeah, Shorty been teed, man. If y'all ain't know, it was his birthday this past
Shout
week.
out to Keith.
You know, June 21st. Y'all, you know, send him something, man. You know, be PG a little bit, but that man, he trying to show y'all that he's sexy on this joint. So go ahead, shout out Keith, man. That boy birthday fresh. You know, he's still drunk. He said he's still drunk from his birthday. So he having a fun time right now.
He out there like a little mama. I can't even deal with it.
But for sure, man. You know, we talked about the Warriors. Steph finally winning his Finals MVP. Let's just talk about it real quick. I want to talk about, you know, the turn that it really took during the series, and that was Game 4.
Mm-hmm.
Game 4 in Boston. You know, TD Garden.
That was big.
Steph finally, in my opinion, had his game. His game was like, well, we talk about Game 6 Bron against Boston. When we talk about Game 6 Mike. When we even talk about, you know, even a lore of Game 6 Clay or even Kobe and Shaq. And, you know, they having their games with the famous oop and all that, you know. Steph finally had his game, and it was like him actually carrying the team.
Yeah, for sure.
And it wasn't no Wiggy playing the Iggy Dollar role.
Almost, hey. Listen. For a while, I was like, come on, Steph, get it together, because Wiggs balling.
Yeah.
If Steph don't get it, you have to give it to Wiggs. Like, without Wiggs and Steph playing like they play, but like consistently, Wiggs has been the most consistent. And if you go back to a few shows ago, I said the key factor to us winning was Wiggs being able to play on both ends and do what he do. And he did it just like so modestly. Like, I love that guy. Like, I'm really growing to really like love who Wiggs is. Like, he gonna dunk the hell out of you, but he just hooping. Quietly.
Let's jump in. Let's jump into it then. Let me get some of this Wiggy love one time for the fun time. I know we're gonna circle back around to Steph. And then we're going to circle back around to Mr. Holy Kenobi, a.k.a. Klay Thompson. And then we're going to circle back around to young Steve Kerr, who was drunk in a motherfucker on a couple, interviews. And then we probably swing it back around to Klay, who was drunk off that Henny. Like, it's a bunch we can talk about. But no, Wiggy, on a serious note, man, us here at Free Game, we like to play, we like to joke around, like that's fun, but like we really, really love the game of basketball. I think as a collective whole, we do a really good job at collaborating together, challenging each other's thoughts, and statements, and holding true to them. And what I will say within this chat, and within our group, man, Wiggy gets a lot of love from us. You got a guy, and just hear me out real quick. I know you guys know I can be long-winded. As Don like to say, man, we don't need a paragraph for everything in the chat. But you gotta let me build the story. You gotta let me paint the motherfucking picture. Sometimes I gotta be Picasso, man. But you got a guy who's the number one touted ranked player in his own country and nation. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. The number one ranked guy in his own country.
Maple Jordan.
He's in Canada. You get what I'm saying? Man, don't start that. But yeah, you get what I'm saying? And then he gets to a place where he has to realize his whole entire basketball career up to that point, he was numero uno. Then he gets to a place in the NBA where the NBA was pretty much ran by the one guy who wanted him out of town, LeBron James. And granted, we get why. Does Wiggy fit LeBron at that point in his career and Kyrie, or does a Kevin Love fit a spot-up shooter? You get what I'm saying? That can rebound. So it's one of those, it's one of those dynamics. But you get to a point where you're X amount of years later, people have kind of forgotten about him. Nobody cares about what he did in Minnesota. You get what I'm saying? He bounces around, and he gets to a situation where he's in the finals, and he has defended a first-team All-NBA forward in Jason Tatum.
Yes, sir.
And made him have statistically one of the worst NBA finals in 75 years of the league. Mm-hmm. He led the team in rebounding. He led the team in steals. He was the second leading scorer on the team. Wiggins deserves every little bit of $160 million. So I know Bob Myers, I know we joked about it in the chat. Bob Myers is probably scratching his head, probably pissed off, taking shots of Jägermeister. The man probably messed up because he know he's going to be in that luxury tax and has to pay Wiggy every single dollar, because I think not only do we at Free Game know, but Steph and Curry, the Finals MVP, know as well. I don't get this without Wiggy.
For sure. And him being an all-star at that, it just pumped up his resume for this year.
And let's go back to a point that you made, Chuck. Do you feel like mentally, what do you think LeBron, getting shipped off from playing with LeBron, do you think that affected him mentally in any shape, form, or fashion?
Oh no, man. I mean, I think for sure. I think when it's one of those things where it's like if you go to a place, and even if it's a smaller place or a big place, but if you the man and then you go somewhere else and you instantly ain't the man or the second man or the third man or the fourth man, it does something to your psyche, man. Because I think we as men, we know we got a pride thing about us. We got this, this macho, machismo type of we got this type of man, I gotta be that dude. Sure. And I'm not saying Wiggy wasn't that dude. The thing is, he just ran into the dude in the NBA for the last X amount of years of LeBron James. You can't share time and play the same position and think it's gonna work out. You get what I'm saying? So I just like to see that, he's worked really hard to get to back to where he is. And then I found out something. I think a lot of our viewers know, our fans know, because they big basketball heads as well.
Yeah.
And we all talked about this together.
They train together.
The fact that he trains with Jason Tatum's trainer. And the fact that you play those psychological, mental warfare games. Like, look, nigga, this ain't checkers, this chess. You got to come to the table with something a little different in the finals. Because that little side step back you do, that little slow, the moves you doing ain't working. And you can tell every time Jason Tatum went to the basket, he looking at the ref for a foul. Man, that man,
folks gotta get in
that
training.
man, Wiggy was in that man's head. Like, I honestly didn't recognize folks, man. Like, I thought Jason Tatum was more effective selling chips, because I see him on bags of chips all the time. I'm playing basketball.
Well, let's
the
get
shorty wasn't doing a damn thing. So yeah, I think Don, to answer your question, hey Wiggy, I think he definitely played on his mind. You could tell in Minnesota it was a disconnect with him in the game. But that's the beauty of going to a franchise like the Golden State Warriors. That's the beauty of you go to a winning atmosphere, a winning culture, and you go play with some winners, and your whole mood swing around.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say before we got in. Get into Jason, because I honestly think that should be next. But Minnesota, going, having what he had three or four coaches in the last 2 years in his stint of Minnesota is like, right now I think Minnesota is in a way better shape than it was when he was in it.
Oh yeah,
especially with the new ownership of A-Rod, owning that franchise now too.
Yeah, that takes a lot. Like who in that front office,
right?
Like who's in leadership.
It's like you just get dull. It's like you just trying to get the paycheck. But
it's an organization, and if you don't run it well, then it's gonna crumble.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I hate to interject, but free game spot for this episode is this, man. You see these two classics right here. We got Beggars Pizza holding it down. It's a Southside classic. Then we got Garrett's, right? So the piece about Garrett's is you don't gotta go to downtown and wait in that long line. We have one on the South Side.
Yeah.
87 in Cottage Grove, you're going to get it a whole lot faster. You feel me? That's the free game for the day. Get that money to the hood, man. It's all good in the hood, and shut the wealth. We need it.
For sure. Shout out Beggars and
I like
shout
that,
out
man.
Garrett.
I like that, man. If you lactose intolerant, you gotta stay away from Beggars though, man. They lay it on thick.
We lay it on thick.
They put that cheese on thick, shawty. So beware about that. But back to Maya, what he was saying, man. And I want to pose a question to Maya. I get what you're saying, winning atmospheres and coaches and all that, but we just gotta push the needle, because we can get lost in this conundrum of what did Wiggy do and what did Steph do and what did the champions do. Let's talk about what that nigga Jason Tatum didn't do. Yeah. How about that? Let's talk about that. And I gotta get right to it, Mike. I know. The people need to know, they need to hear from you, man. What the hell happened to the first team All NBA forward of this NBA season, Jason Tatum? From your eyes, from what you watched in 6 games, bro, what happened to that?
Me personally, man, we talked about earlier, in earlier episodes, his growth as him becoming a superstar and him becoming better. And as a leadership on it, as being a leader and a superstar on his team, I think this finals kind of rattled him. I think it was his first time being, it's his first time being in the finals, and you get those type of jitters, man. And I think it's 3 things. I think 1, it was a little bit of jitters. 2, something's got to be wrong with his shoulder. I don't think his shoulder is 100%, but we can also say everybody has been, injured in some case or form. But I really think, because the way he was driving, it wasn't even the same how he was driving in previous rounds. It didn't look like JT. And like we talk about they was talking about it was a stinger. A stinger don't last that long, especially it was like the first game of the game 1 of the finals. 5 or 10 seconds into the game, he holding his shoulder, and it's like, man, it's something wrong. He don't got no tape on it or nothing, so I don't know. But and then third, it was just a combination of good defense by Golden State and Wiggy. Jason, he shot very well from the three. I think he shot like 45 or 50% from the three. But it's like besides that, it was like any spots besides that, it was like, no, you're not doing nothing in other spots. You're not getting to the hole. But Jason does do a lot for his team that people don't see as well. It's like he's a great facilitator. The first game he
was a game when he had 12.
Yeah,
14?
he had 12 or 14 assists. And he's still playing defense at that. And it's like, I'm not worried about him. You know, some people talking about, you know, he's not ready for the big stage, or Jason Tatum is a fraud. You know, he was a fraud this series.
I want
this series.
I interject. Right.
Okay.
We initially talked about the road and the route that Boston has took to even get to that stage. Mm-hmm. Right. Being a rookie team, and I say rookie, I'm just saying, you know, you got a young leader.
Yeah.
Right. You got Dwight, you got Horford, excellent veteran experience. You got defensive player of the year and Smart. And you got a killer in JB and a monster in Grant, right? You got all the necessary tools to take you there, right? But like you stated on another episode, the Celtics had already played a finals to even get to the finals.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of game 7s in the series. You feel what I'm saying? They were gassed out. And I said that they're not going to be able to physically continue to play on that level against Golden State. It's not gonna happen. They ran out of petrol, bro.
No.
And then hold up.
Yeah,
The second part is this. We got 2 predecessors of my man Carl. Of Pop. Right? And I said it's gonna come down to those coaches. We see who won, man. Steve Kerr, man.
Oh, man. Steve Kerr got outcoached this series, bro.
Yeah,
No.
How he get outcoached then?
Bro. Your fandom is seeping through, bro. No.
How he get outcoached?
Real quick.
How he get outcoached? With the last 3 games,
The thing is, you can't coach 3-pointers falling. Because when Steph don't hit him, he have a game like Game 5, and he don't hit him, and he has a terrible, terrible game. And everybody looked crazy. Like, damn, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Then you had the next game, the game before that, where he shoot and he dropped a 40 ball and everything fall. I believe that, honestly, if JT is who JT has been consistently throughout the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, that series definitely goes 7. And we don't know who the champion really is.
If it goes game 7, I'll be completely honest. If it goes game 7, I'm a bit afraid that Golden State will lose.
Okay.
I do not want to see a game 7.
I'm not saying Steve Kerr didn't play a pivotal role. I'm not saying Steve Kerr didn't coach well. But even with all of the flaws that Boston had to deal with in terms of Robert Williams got hurt each and every game. So you already behind the 8 ball on the shot blocker, defender, and rebounder. Each game, Robert Williams tweaks something.
Yeah. It seemed not to really affect him physically because he's
Marcus
still.
Smart tweaked something as well, game 2. So Marcus Smart tweaked something game 2. JT does not have not one game where he shoots over 40% from the field and 45% from the 3-point line and almost 85% from the free throw line. He had not one game that series where he did those 3 things. Well, for his team, he could have led them in each and every category, shooting-wise. He didn't do that.
And how come?
In that series, JT also didn't have one quarter where he had at least 8 to 10 points. So it's like, it's the thing where I get that I would hear that Steve Kerr possibly outcoach Udoka. Sorry, but it's like I can't really say he was the pivotal coach why they won. Now I will say I do agree a little bit with what you're saying. JT might have been gassed. He might have been tired. He played against KD. He played against Giannis. He played against Jimmy, and that is taxing. That's a taxing schedule. But for me, it's like, man, we've seen a lot of greats, man. That's what makes you great. You go through gauntlets of playoffs, and they just make it happen. So I'm just on this cusp of I'm disappointed in JT because it's one of those things where Maya just said, first finals not used to the biggest stage, but man, I played with some big stages that do. You know what I'm saying? The man was one of the top players in the nation playing in some of the big stages as well. So is it a culmination of being tired and injured? Or, like Maya said, it's just a combination like them lights was a little too bright. And one thing I know being a Laker fan is that them Celtics fans are one of some of the most attractive fans in the league, bro. In the world. They are crazy about their franchise. They should be top for the most NBA championships in the world. You get what I'm saying? So it's like one thing about Celtics Nation and the C's is, man, once they not behind you, they're behind you, man. And JT gonna have to bounce back. And I just don't think this is a young team because think about it, this same team has been in 2 Eastern Conference Finals before they got to their third one this year with this group, and they went to the finals. So they're actually really experienced. You get what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things.
I think they'll be good though. I think Jason gonna come back. I think this is not his last finals. I don't know if it's gonna be next year.
Okay.
And after we talk about the draft and stuff like that a little bit, we can even talk about the trades and the shape of the league in a minute. But I just think he's gonna go back to the drawing board because honestly, the league is set up, in my opinion, for JT to be the new face of the league. Like we see all his endorsements, and like it's just to be real. It's like you see him with his son, you see him on these bags of chips. Bradley Beal said it before they set him.
I just don't want to see folks with no armband that's purple and gold. No, and that's what hurts me. It ain't got nothing to do with Kobe. I'm gonna get off the bandwagon saying that people think ain't just my brothers here at free game, my actual brothers. Like the other friends in the group, like, bro, you just hate anybody that say something about Kobe because you're still mourning. Yes, bitch, I'm mourning. I'm gonna keep mourning. You gotta deal with that shit. But it's the fact that Book did it in the finals. What happened? That man JT did it game 1. Wow. It's one of those things it's like, man. And then for JT, you know how blasphemous that is to wear that. Like, with the Celtic jersey. That's like, hypothetically, Kobe and Shaq say, oh, we're going to put some green headbands and green armbands. Like, bro, you just don't do that, man. Like, it's different ties, different stuff. And I get you playing homage. I get you paying this respect. I know Kobe was big home. I get the text message thing, but man, it just, from real Celtic faithfuls that I've been arguing with, and I'm 31 years old, and I've been a Laker fan forever, so I'm gonna say since I was 13 years old, I feel like I can have a valid argument about basketball. To 31, I have probably 3 real-life Celtics fans who have been at my neck, and I've been at their neck for damn near 15, 16, 17 years, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, G. They didn't like that what they did, bro. No matter if you're paying homage, you don't put those colors on with the colors that you represent. You don't do that, bro. And they said, like, they knew it. They said, I thought that game 1, I knew that shit. These are real Celtics fans. These are real Celtics fans.
Do you feel like with them, knocking Brooklyn out early in the first round, and then, rolling through the Greek, do you think they got a little, like, big-headed and forgot, like, because they...
I don't think they got big-headed. I think.
Yeah, Mike, go ahead. Take it over.
Yeah, I don't think they got big-headed.
Yeah, I don't think they got big-headed. I think the thing was, and I will agree with Chuck on this, is just like with the Kobe armband, that's fine. I'm cool with the Kobe armband. It's just
not the purple and yellow.
When you showing, like, it's always corny to me when like people they'll like show text messages of like a loved one that they like they passed and things like that. Like, all right, bro, keep that to yourself. You know, if you mourning, keep it to yourself.
Or people get on FaceTime Facebook Live and cry.
Yeah. It's like those type of things.
Like,
It's like
premeditated murder, bro.
exactly.
That's like
Yeah.
you already set yourself up because it's like even if you do for
Little technical difficulties, but we back. Go ahead,
Back down like
man.
SmackDown. Yes, sir. But back at it again. Free Game Podcast. Y'all know how we rock it, man. We do this we can do it from Chicago, we can do it from Atlanta. Man, we wanna spread so vast across, not just the United States but the nation. We just wanna be able to let our free game reign supreme. We just wanna give everybody free game. But this is the one free game I think real Celtics fans need. Maya and Don, my brothers, they need to hear what's gonna help them if they do get back to the promised land. In my opinion, Jeremiah said at the beginning of the pod, at the beginning of this segment, that JT had to do a lot. Would y'all agree?
Yeah, for sure.
JT had to do a lot of things. Maya spoke on 12 to 14 assists, and some games having 9 rebounds, having to shoot from the arc so well, or make plays at the basket, and he had to do so many. He had to have his hands in so many different pockets. But it got me to thinking, like, what's one of the glory days of the Boston Celtics? Let's say the 08 Celtics. And what they
Rondo.
with those plethora of players.
Rondo.
Those Paul Pierce and those Ray Allens and those KGs. They had a facilitator.
For
They
sure.
had a train conductor. They had a guy there that can make it happen. Let's even take it back some. Fuck it. Let's take it back some. I don't even like taking it back that far. There's too many white men playing in the NBA. But Bob Cousy, you know what I'm saying? A guy that can facilitate and move things around. You got to think about Bob played with the Bill Russells. Bob Cousy played with the Robert Parishes. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about when you got that many stars, you need a guy that's willing to not be a star. That's willing to just say, you know what? I need to plug in and do what I need to do because I'm the missing piece and link for this championship team. And I think that's what they missed. JT had the ball in his hands too much. Marcus Smart had the ball in his hands too much.
Yeah.
It got to a point where even though JB was good with the ball in his hands, because he had to make sure Draymond felt that he was a bum, that he couldn't guard. So anytime he saw Dray, folks asked like,
Yeah, he said, I need this.
like, get the fuck, like, he took it personal for getting stepped on or having somebody's head on his foot in game 1. But I just want to pose a question to both of my brothers, my guys, to basketball gurus. Be real with it, 2 basketball gurus. If it's a point guard that you can plug in for the Celtics nation, if it's a guy that you think that can fit that system to get them back to the promised land, because we're not gonna say they're not gonna get there. Maya just said it. He's not saying they're gonna get there next year, but this is not gonna be his last time. JT's last time. JT's last time. JB's last time. Marcus Smart's last time. Getting to the finals. What will be that one point guard that y'all can really think of that you plug in and that team is dangerous? And they, hypothetically, if you put that point guard in a couple of weeks ago, do they beat the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, man. I think
there's a few.
I think there's been rumors about like them acquiring Ricky Rubio. I don't know personally. Because him coming off another ACL injury is tough to me. Like that's real tough to just say he's gonna be able to lead a team to a championship with his, with point. He's a great point guard, but that's just tough to me. I wouldn't even, you may look at Kyrie since he might be available later on, but
Nah.
he already got his own destiny.
Me personally,
He
man.
wanna go.
And I guess it depends if like you want somebody with a little experience or you want a younger guard. But automatically when you first mentioned it, I think you could easily plug like Oladipo up in there. I think you easily could put a Dunn in there, Chi-Town hero. No, who y'all thinking?
I think a team like that needs an actual playmaker.
Yeah.
Like somebody that legit wants to go out there and just make actual plays.
So let me pose this. Who do y'all think who is technically available or up for like free agency that could
I don't know. The
pop
thing
over
is,
there?
they had Dennis Schroeder, and they got.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
crazy.
I don't know what happened to Dennis. It's like I guess they wasn't really fucking with him, but
But Fool blew the bag anyway to LA anyway, so like he deserved whatever happened to him. He was just a Leon Rogers ass, donkey of the day ass nigga for this whole year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use these individuals' names. They know who they are. They watch the pod. We don't want to be dropping names. I already dropped enough Celtic love today, so I'm not gonna get enough satisfaction and enough gratification of dropping their names. But they gave me some good insight when we talked. And just imagine, I know Chicago fans like Chuck, what the hell, bro? You just keep finding a way off the rubber bull. Shut down. Lonzo Ball in that finals. Just hypothetical.
yeah.
A bigger guard that wants to get an assist the game, that wants to play primary defense. Number two, the series before the Western Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson, a guy that wants to get people involved, a guy that's also a bucket as well. Third guy in the same conference, team to do as well as we thought they would because they have been trending upward last few years. Malcolm Brogdon. You know, I can see those three guards.
Malcolm Brogdon could be a nice pickup.
With that Celtics team and defending, running offense, and facilitating the basketball. I think if they get any of those three guards, or had them, hypothetically, we know salary cap, we know what players going to go, we feel players, when we feel where players are going to go at. But if it was hypotheticals, I would drop one of those three guards in that Celtics system right now, and I think they would have had a better shot.
I think
Golden State Warriors.
I come up with one. I think the one because we seen the alert, it kind of threw us off, and it looked like he's available too. The DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray.
I don't even know what my mind even is.
You know, 6'6" point guard. He can play defense, and he's damn near average a triple double last year. So if they can find a way to pull that off, it might be real scary because that might put them in the runners of just having another great, defensive team again. So we'll see, man. But Don, you got any more or not?
I mean, he in a totally different conference, but what do y'all feel about seeing Poole over there?
Who?
Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole.
Fresh off the championship.
I think he gonna get his money by GSW.
You said what, Chuck?
I think I'm in a space of where I just don't like Jordan Poole.
You don't like him?
I don't want to seem like a hater. Maya know I've been on this bandwagon since we started season 1 of Free Game. In the beginning, Maya did predict that Jordan Poole is going to be an X factor for the Warriors, which he was. So, hey, everybody in Free Game, let's make sure we give Maya kudos for that. But he only gets half of kudos. He didn't win, most improved player. But it's cool.
For sure.
It's cool.
For sure.
It's cool. But I think with Jordan Poole, it's something going on here that I don't like his game to the point where he gets unfocused.
Oh, yeah.
I get his game is flashy. And what I mean flashy, I mean the swaggy P's. I think the J.R. Smiths, just a flashy type of game. You know what I'm saying? An exhilarating, flashy, fun game. Definitely is a bucket getter. You get what I'm saying? But it's like how many coaches and how many players and players coaches. You get what I'm saying? How many coaches and how many players coaches and just star players. What I'm saying? Steve Kerr coaches, players coaches, Draymond Green, real deal players, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, will allow a player like him to do what he do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he does a lot of sporadic OC shit. Yeah, granted, 50% of the time that shit fall and it's nasty. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
they were like, the man got that joint shot off glass and it's like, I was like, okay, motherfucker, turn him up. That's how you take them back. That's how you snatch back that mental stronghold going into the fourth quarter. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In Boston at that when he did it. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, but that's that organization. If Poole decides not to take the money and go elsewhere and test free agency, how many people, how many coaches, how many players, coaches, how many stud players want to be like, oh, I'm cool with him doing that shit. You get what I'm saying? So it's like for me, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not the biggest fan of Jordan Poole. I don't think he can fit that Boston system. I know this is out of nowhere, but I still believe Tyrese Maxey is better than Jordan Poole. That's just me. I think he's a better player personally.
I think Poole.
I don't like the Jordan Poole move. I don't like that. I think Jordan Poole just fits where he is. He's a great player. He's good. He can shoot. He has offense. But you snatch him out of a Golden State system, man, and have him start as a shooting guard in a lot of roles. That's different, man. And I'm not saying I know he started a lot this year against Klay Thompson.
But I think mentally it was hard for him to keep.
Go ahead.
I think mentally it was hard for him to continue what him and Steph had kind of like built once Klay came back and Wiggs kind of stepped it up this year. He kind of lost like his role and like who he was for the Golden State Warriors. You see him doing some NBA Jam type stuff.
I don't know. I think it was more of a Klay having the issue because honestly, he was consistent the whole playoffs.
He don't get me wrong, he played all right, but it felt like with some of the stuff that he was doing was unnecessary. Like
was it the Mavs?
Turning over the ball, like trying to do crazy between the legs, all that.
You said it was the Mavs?
I'm sorry to overtalk because I do hear what Don said. He's making sense. I think the Mavs. He had an amazing series against the Grizzlies, right?
And the Nuggets.
And the Nuggets, and then the Mavs and the Warriors was a shakier series, especially the Mavs. I honestly watched that entire Mavs series and it was like, damn, wait a minute, Jordan Poole's still playing. Like it really bothered, like no seriously, no troll, like damn, is that nigga still playing? Like what the fuck? So like yeah, I think he lost his groove in the Mavs. I agree that the Clays and the Wiggy's playing well and Klay coming back or whatever, but I don't know. I maybe after the championship run he matures. But just to answer the initial question, I don't know. Seeing Jordan Poole, I think seeing Jordan Poole on the Celtics is cool, but I still believe the Celtics need a true point guard or a true combo guard who still loves the facilitate and actually plays some defense. And Poole not gonna play no defense.
Yeah. Either way, he's getting paid with Golden State. Like we talk about Wiggy getting paid, he definitely getting paid 100 M's.
I don't know how they gonna stretch that money, man.
Bob Myers gonna find a way.
Luxury tax.
Yeah, man.
He always gonna find a way. He supposed to be on this Jerry bus sometime.
I mean, Steph could ease off. Klay definitely could take a cut.
Yeah.
Dre definitely could take a cut.
Who can take a cut?
Who?
Who you say can take a cut?
Klay.
Who else you say?
He said,
Dre.
Nah,
And who else?
I said Steph gonna ease off. I didn't say take a cut. I'm saying he ain't finna go buku crazy. But here's the thing though, Chuck. Here's the thing though. Steph is not one of those players. He's already done that. He wants to win.
But it's not the fact that you need to get paid the most money in the NBA when you are now a top 10 player of all time. Steph should never take a bag drop from anybody else in the world.
And
He
it's
should not compromise. He finally did what we all asked him to do. And he should be celebrated like that until the man retires.
Well, I feel like this. I see Steph saying, what do we have to do to keep this nucleus of this team and going forward?
But we know.
And I hear you though, Chuck.
Bob Myers gonna get that under control. But we gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. We know, honestly, besides any other team, we'll see this offseason. Golden State probably has the biggest chance to go back to back. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
It's gonna be tough, man. I see a lot of moving parts happening. They're gonna be gunning for the Warriors.
This will definitely be a few-part podcast. We're gonna come back more with some extra guests. We're gonna swing them in because we gotta talk some trades. We gotta talk some NBA draft.
For sure.
We just gotta talk basketball. But before we end, that is a great way to just segue us out of this podcast. What are the percentages of the Golden State Warriors running it back? I'm talking about running it back and being the NBA champions. For me, so I won't be the last one to speak on this. And I love to see, Nah, man, I don't see it. I don't see it. Look, spoiler alert. They lose one of the two between Poole and Wiggins. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Personally. Yes, they lose one of them. It's just the dynamic of the NBA for me. You lose one. I don't know how, but you lose.
Hey, Poole said it.
I'm listening. Come on.
Poole said it like, I don't know if he said you about to get paid or we about to get
We
paid.
both getting paid.
So I don't
We
know.
both get paid.
So that may be his exit. I don't know. So
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we gonna and again, we thinking what we say. Maya say 100 M's for Jordan Poole, right? That's what
Yeah.
we're thinking. And then we say 165 for A Wiggy.
Mm-hmm.
And restructuring contracts, I can see Dre and Clay restructuring. Because at the end of the day, you want to keep winning with your brothers, and if you can win with your brothers, and you can get 5 with your brothers, 5. That's some
it's gonna be a cold documentary there.
company, man. That's some nasty stuff, man. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't too many niggas that got 5 rings together. We talking this is I'm just off the top of the dome. Magic and Kareem, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic and Kareem, because Kareem got 6. He got 1 in Milwaukee, 5 with Magic. Man.
Kobe.
Scotty and Mike.
Yeah.
Scotty and Mike got 6 together.
Yeah.
But Kobe and Shaq couldn't even do it that many times. They only did 3.
Are you saying as in duos?
Mhm.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
no, I'm just saying as in teammates that have been playing through almost a decade together
Okay.
to eclipse 5 rings together. You get
How
what
many
I'm saying?
how many Duncan and Robinson got?
They only got
Now,
one
Duncan
together.
and Robinson wouldn't count. They only got 1 together.
Oh,
But they
wow.
got,
It'll be
but
Duncan.
they got 4.
Yeah. Duncan, Manu.
Duncan, Manu.
Yeah. So they got. That's what I was gonna get to last. I knew it was 1 more.
Right.
That's in that cusp of 4 and 5. You know, so shit. Scotty and Mike got 6. That's there. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's a rare thing, and I think they do fight for that. So that's where my statement goes a little haywire, and I say that if like Don said, if Clay and if Drake can take the pay cut, then they figure a way to keep Poole and keep Wiggy, then I have to scrap it all. But I still feel like my statement to start this last part of the segment is one of them 2 leave, and that's why I don't feel like they repeat. For one, I don't think Clay is better.
Nah.
I just don't. It's just you see when a person hit that.
Yeah.
It's fine, but you still get games where you can shoot threes and you get those looks. But I don't see Clay getting better, and we know damn for sure. Well, Dre ain't getting no fucking better, bro. He's not getting better.
But he did what I said he needed. We need 10 points out of Dre. It was extra, but we didn't need it, but we got it. So I said if we get 10 out of Dre, we win.
Out of all the playoffs next year, around with him, because that man is not it no more. So in terms of them repeating, I would put them. So I can hurry up and finish. I will put them in my top 5 teams to make the NBA Finals next year. I will give them that, but they will probably be the 5th in my opinion. I know that sounds blasphemous. I know it sounds crazy, but man, the NBA probably would be shut up. We don't know what Kyrie's doing. We don't know what Kevin Durant going.
Yeah.
Like it's too many dynamics right now with the NBA, and they just got more money, and and now it's like it's pretty much like fuck the luxury tax. We'll make it up on the back end. I don't know, man. Like, do the Warriors beat the Bucks if they get there? Chris Middleton never tear his MCL. You get what I'm saying? It's just so many dynamics, bro. Like, if James Harden is happy and Kyrie not being fucking Buddha, do they actually even lose in the first round to those Celtics? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just so many dynamics, bro. It's hard for me to see the Warriors to push through another season with Dre and Clay being that mediocre. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my main point. It's not. Then the first point is they're not gonna sign both of the guys, but can they still make that threshold with Dre and Clay being that average? I don't see them going back to back. If Clay and Dre are that average, or if they lose one of the 2 in Poole and Wiggy. That's how I feel, but I got the top 5.
I still say maybe top 3, maybe top 5 with you, but I think they're the most consistent. You know, even having a championship coach and that championship culture. You know, it proved it. They are always gonna find a way. This is probably the least likely championship they gonna get, but it's also like I said, we don't know. We don't know. Like you said, we don't know what Kyrie might go to LA. KD might go play with Dame after we seen what Dame just posted. So it's like the West might get shooken up, and it's like I don't know, bro. Like,
I love you, brother, but I'm not trying to see you in no Portland jersey.
look,
I
man.
love you, but I ain't trying to see you in no Portland jersey, man. But I'm gonna say that one for the next pod.
Yeah, we gonna say that for the next pod, but it's just imagine the KD and the deck. All right, go ahead.
I got one more
Go
thing.
ahead, man.
Of course, I'm like at that. I'm gonna keep it real sweet and simple because I want to make another announcement. I have a 90% chance
90%.
that my boys
So
go
you-
back to back.
You got them top two teams.
You said
Yeah.
how much?
90.
90%. 90% chance of them going back to back. I mean, it's a little.
What are you trying to bet, man? I think it's time for us to do a little Laker Warrior thing, man.
If I can make a bet right now at the boat or something like that, it's gonna give me some bread, which it probably is out there. This year I'm gonna make the bet I was supposed to capitalize off on really getting that guapo.
Now you think that you DJ Khaled too smart. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And so the other announcement, man, it's the second weekend, man. You got Ice Cube doing his thing, man, showing some big love to the city. We got the big three in town. They were here. They're playing today, and they'll be here tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all checking out the schedule of the big three if they're in y'all city. Make sure y'all check them out. We got Michael Beasley going crazy. Got ISO Joe giving it that magic, man, and it's really entertaining. It's great to see, you know, some of our favorite players still living out their dreams just on a different platform. So shout out to Cube with the Cube Vision and the Big Three. If y'all can, make it y'all business to go out and show them some love. Check their schedules out.
We're gonna throw that on the story. We need to throw that on the story one time for Buck Time all week. So they at least know what's coming up, you know, when and all that good stuff. I like
sure.
this.
You know, I'm finna pull up on Big Baby now, man. You know.
It's a wild boy, man. It's a wild
do
boy.
be at Grand Cross.
You know, we brought Big Baby to the hood, man, in Grand Crossing, man. Brought him to Chatham. Took him to Garrett's. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show the picture, man. You right. Throw on the picture,
We
man.
gonna put it in the pot, man. But
So,
y'all let us know, man, who y'all think the Celtics need to, you know, get them over the hump, and where y'all got the Golden State, you know, at percentage wise, or top 5, top 3, maybe even top 10 wise of teams of making it back to the championship and winning. Let us know down in the comments. You know, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video on YouTube. And listen to us to all podcast platforms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, RSS. And y'all know the deal, man. This free game, the game is free.
for sure.
You know, we out.
We out.